on question number 1, says, which ratio is used to describe pi? Yesterday we talked about pi, and pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. So, yesterday we said that the circle's circumference to its diameter equals pi. So yesterday on our notes we divided the circumference of the circle by its diameter. So we're going to see which ratio is used to describe pi. A says circumference to diameter. So this would look like C over D. We are to write this ratio out as a fraction. B says diameter to circumference. So that would look like diameter to circumference. Answer choice C, diameter to radius. That would be diameter to radius. And answer choice D would be circumference to radius. So circumference to radius. So obviously answer choice A is going to be the answer because it's the ratio that we talked about yesterday, that circumference divided by pi or divided by diameter equals pi. Question number 2. Miss Clement's dinner plate has a radius of 8 centimeters. And if we look at the plate here, we can see that the 8 centimeters is our radius. Okay? And it's asking us which of the following expressions can be used to describe the relationship between the radius and the circumference of Miss Clement's dinner plate in centimeters. And we know that from our vocabulary that the circumference is the distance around the outside edge of this plate. Also, looking back at your vocabulary or at your math star chart, there are 2 different formulas to calculate the circumference of a circle. There's one that you use if you're given the radius, and there's one that you use if you're given the diameter. And since we know the radius of this problem, we're going to use the formula circumference equals 2 times pi times r, and r is the radius. So we know that we're going to have to multiply 2 times pi times the radius, and our radius is 8 centimeters. So we're going to look at our answer choices. Answer choice F has 8 times pi. Look back at the formula that we just wrote. Are we only multiplying 8 times pi? No, we are also multiplying it by 2. Answer choice G has 2 times 8, and then multiply that by pi. We solve inside of our parentheses first. So this could be a possibility because we're doing 2 times 8. And here we could do 2 times 8, and then times pi, and then we can multiply by pi. On answer choice H, we're doing 8 times 8 times pi. If we look back at our formula, we're doing 2 times pi times 8. Answer choice A is missing the 2 part of our formula, so that's not going to work. Answer choice H is not going to work. And then answer choice J has 16 times 16 times pi. So answer choice J is missing the 2 and the radius, which would be 8. It looks like, since they have 16 and 16, that they found the diameter, because the diameter of that circle would actually equal 16 because the diameter is 2 times the radius. So our answer is going to be answer G. On to number 3. A cylindrical popcorn tin has a lid with a circumference of approximately 25.12 inches. Which expression can be used to describe the relationship between the circumference and the diameter? So now we're looking at the circumference and the diameter of the popcorn tin lid. Our formula to calculate the circumference of a circle when we are given or talking about the diameter is circumference equals pi times d. Going back into our problem, we know that the circumference of this circle is approximately 25.12 inches. So we're going to replace the c in our formula with 25.12 equals, I can leave pi just like it is, because if you look at your answer choices, each one of them has pi, so they're using pi instead of the value for pi, which would be 3.14. So pi times d. All right, on answer choice A, we have 2 times 25.12 times pi. This is the circumference times times pi, and then there's this random 2. If you look at our formula, we have circumference equals pi times d, and we said that circumference was 25.12 equals pi times d. So answer choice A is not going to work. Answer choice B, 25.12, that would be our circumference, divided by 2 pi. We don't have a 2 pi written in our formula anywhere, so we know answer choice B is not going to work. Answer choice C, 25.12, which is our circumference, times pi. We look back at our formula, we're not multiplying the circumference by pi, so that is not going to work. Answer choice D, 25.12 divided by pi, possibly. If we were going to solve this equation, 25.12 equals pi times d, we would have to go to the side of our equation with our variable, and our variable is the d because we're looking for the diameter. So we would have to divide both sides of the equation by pi. Pi is not our variable here. Pi actually represents a constant value, and that constant value is 3.14. So I could have this written as 25.12, which is my circumference, divided by pi. If I divide my circumference by pi, that will give me my diameter. So if you look at answer choice D, they're dividing the circumference by pi. So your answer should be D. Okay, on number 4, says Victor has a circular clock in his room. The long hand of the clock is the radius with a measure of 6 centimeters. The approximate circumference of the face of the clock, so we also know the circumference, is 37.68 centimeters. Which of the following ratios shows the relationship between the radius and the circumference of the clock face? So we have a clock, and we know that the second hand, or the long hand, sorry, so that would be the radius is 6 centimeters. And then we also know that the circumference of the clock is 37.68. And remember, circumference is the distance around the outside edge of a circle. It's a type of perimeter. And we need to know how to find the circumference if we're given the radius. So we need our formula. The formula to find the circumference given our radius, it's going to be the same as problem number 2. Circumference equals 2 times pi times r. So we know the circumference is 37.68. We're going to replace this C, because C stands for circumference, with that 37.68. So we have 37.68 equals 2 times pi times our radius, which is 6. So now we just need to solve to see the relationship. So if we look at answer choice F, answer choice F is dividing the circumference of 37.68 divided by 6. So if we were going to solve this equation, we would actually divide 37.68 by 2 times the 6. We would also divide it by pi, but I can see here that they're leaving pi out. So they're moving over the 2 and the 6 first before they divide by pi. So answer choice F is only dividing by 6, so answer choice F is not going to work. On answer choice G, we have 6 times 2. 6 times 2 divided by our circumference. We want to divide our circumference needs to be on top. So circumference is in the wrong place, otherwise this one would work. Answer choice H, we have the circumference on top, and then on the bottom it has 6 times 6. We don't want 6 times 6. We want 6 times 2, because in our formula we have 2 times pi times r, and our radius is the r, and our radius is 6. On answer choice J, we have the circumference, 37.68, divided by 6 times 2, which is what we have over here. So answer choice J is the best answer for problem number 4. Okay, problem number 5. The table below shows the approximate circumference and diameter for each of 3 jar lids. Jar lid measures. So we have a column here with the jar lid measures in giving our diameter. And then on the right hand side of the table, we have the circumference of those jar lid measures. Okay, and those are both given to us in inches. Question says, which statement best describes the relationship between the diameter and circumference of each lid? So we're looking for the relationship between the diameter and the circumference of each lid. Answer choice A, the diameter is approximately 6 inches less than the circumference. So on answer choice A, it is saying that the diameter is 6 inches smaller or less than the circumference. So if we go up here to circumference, we subtract 6, we're going to get about 3. We subtract 6 from 15, you're going to get 9. That'll give you 9. This will give you about 3. These are all approximate. And if we subtract 6 from 20.42, we're going to get about 14. So what answer choice A is saying is that the diameter, so our diameter values, are 6 inches less than the circumference. On the first one, the diameter is about 6 inches less. But on the second lid, if we subtract 6, we get 9. And the diameter here is not 9, it's 5. So this is a false statement. And we're going to look at answer choice B. The circumference is approximately 6 inches more than the diameter. So we want to see if the circumference if the circumference is 6 inches more than the diameter. So if the diameter plus 6 would equal about 9, our diameter here plus 6, 5 plus 6 is 11. That's not close to 15. And 6.5 plus 6 is going to be 12.5. So answer choice B does not work either. Answer choice C. The diameter is approximately 1/3 the circumference. So they're saying that the diameter is 1/3 the circumference. What 1/3 means is if we divide by 3. So the diameter is 1/3 smaller than the circumference. So if we take the circumference, 9.425, and we divide by 3, that's going to give us about 3, which is what we have here. If we take the second circumference of 15.708 and divide that by 3, we're going to get approximately 5, because 3 goes into 15 5 times. If we take our third circumference, 20.42, and we divide by 3, 3 can go into 20 approximately 6 times. So on each one of those, testing each one of those, C works the best so far. And then answer choice D says the circumference is approximately 1/3 of the diameter. So on answer choice D, it's saying that we would divide the circumference, or I'm sorry, the diameter by 3 to see about the circumference. Well, if I divide this diameter by 3, I'm going to get it 1, and that's not going to give me my circumference. So just testing that first one, we can see that answer choice D is not going to work. So the best value here, or answer choice here, is going to be answer choice C.